talking. Let's settle for Ghana Briefs.
Lawyer Bernard Bediako-Baidu, the Akwatia NDC constituency secretary and a private legal practitioner, has emerged the winner in the party's parliamentary primaries. He defeated former member of parliament and one other contender, securing 380 votes to clinch the slot. This puts him on the NDC ticket to contest for the Akwatia by-election, slated for September 2. The prime suspect in the murder of Ghana Immigration Service Officer Assistant Inspector Stephen Kinamwa is scheduled to reappear before the Adabraka District Court on August 8. Director General of the CID, COP Lydia Yakodonko, indicated the accused, Bright Aware, has been charged with murder after a search at his residence revealed blood stains and several incriminating evidence.
The investigation took a decisive turn on 16 July 2025 when the CID, supported by officers from the counter-terrorism unit and the Kwabena District Police, visited the suspect's residence. A forensic inspection revealed the following: blood stains in the living room and evidence of attempted cleanup, freshly sprayed walls, and empty can of spray paint. A search of a secondary crime scene near the GBC satellite area also uncovered a burnt woolen carpet stained with blood and partially burnt camouflage fabric. On 24 July, police obtained a warrant from the court to search a particular room in the suspect's house. A search in the room revealed more blood stains which were photographed and samples were collected for forensic analysis.
Pre-tertiary teacher unions are urging the Ghana Education Service to put in place special measures to support students in Boku who are set to sit for the upcoming West African Senior School Certificate Examination, WASSCE. They warn, without immediate interventions, the psychological impact of the conflicts in the area could negatively affect candidates. Adokwe Awule is the Vice President of the Pre-Tertiary Teachers Association of Ghana.
But also speaking now, in other schools, they are learning. Their teachers are on them. They are being taught how to write the examination. But now, when you go to Naleregu, when you go to Boku, SHS, they are all at home. But when it is time for examination, we are going to assist them to come back on campus and then write the examination. Why should it be so? So you just move from your house, you come and write the exams, and then you go again. I mean, psychologically, it is not even right.
The Minister for Youth Development and Empowerment says government has projected to employ between 100 and 150,000 youth by the end of the year. Appearing at the accountability series at the presidency, the minister said applications are being received for the various government's flagship programs.
Our programs are still rolling out. Clearly, by the end of this year, all things being equal, between 100 and 150,000 young people should be put to work. Under Jumeirah, we are targeting to do 500,000. Under National Apprenticeship, we are targeting to do 500,000 over a period of 4 years. And then the YEA models, the national service models, give or take, by the end of the 4 years of His Excellency President Mahama, direct and indirect jobs should be close to 1.5 to 2 million.
President John Dramani Mahama has directed the Minister for Interior, Transport and Foreign Affairs to collaborate and fast-track the rollout of e-visa services in Ghana. The ministers have been tasked to leverage the newly commissioned air navigation services and the multi-agency command center for the advanced passenger information and passenger name record systems to see to the implementation.
The introduction of the API and PNR systems provides a strong digital platform on which other critical services can be integrated. And that's why I'm directing the honorable ministers responsible for Interior, Transport, and Foreign Affairs to collaborate to ensure that this platform is expanded to enable us quickly implement the long-awaited e-visa services for the country. I'm charging them to extend this system to cover both the sea and land border posts, integration with our e-gate systems,
That's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live as well on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook. As always, probably brought to you by Flamingo Paint, Simply Superior, Sasso Insecticide Spray and Call Tum Preco. Coming up next, battle lines drawn for the September 2 Akwatia constituency by-election as the National Democratic Congress NDC elects a parliamentary candidate was to contest on the ticket of the party on September 2, this by-election in the Akwatia constituency. And this is your election command center. Straight to Akwatia, and lawyer Bernard Bediako-Bedo, the Akwatia NDC constituency secretary and the private legal practitioner, has emerged winner in the party's parliamentary primaries. Now, he defeated the former member of parliament and one other contender, securing 380 votes to clinch this victory earlier this evening. Take a look at the declaration.
Candidate Bernard Bediako-Bedo had 380 votes. Candidate Erasmus Kondi Ali had 366 votes. Candidate Henry Yadu Wache had 226 votes. On behalf of the Electoral Commission, I declare Mr. Bernard Bediako-Bedo as candidate-elect for the NDC for the Akwatia parliamentary by-elections.
That's how it all played out earlier today. Now the NDC knows their candidate who is going to contest on the ticket of the party September 2, less than a month away from today. That by-election is a crucial one for both political parties. Now, some party supporters and delegates, after this declaration, spoke to my colleague Yvonne Ikwe, who covered this election of the NDC primaries for us earlier today. Very interesting remarks that they gave, because some also are of the view that even though the man who has been declared winner or who has won this primary is the secretary for the NDC constituency Akwatia branch, they say he is not really known on the ground. But take a look at this.
We should all come together. But as your friends say, your friends say, we pay, your mama, your friends, and there all night, and all we need, and there, about general one, you better my MP said, Omukase, about to abandon Debbie, and money and Cosa, your bonfire, and penny phone solely. Number romantum, number campaign, I win ya. Number for football, number man kabum, and Rakoja in them. Yabaka one boom. Yet to me, I sit in a mandisi.
Well, those are some supporters and delegates of the NDC. Now, we'll get a reaction from the party's executives shortly. But this is the man. This man in the middle, he is the constituency, that's the Akwatia constituency aspirant for the NDC elect today. He is the one who is going to be on the ballot for the NDC in the next less than 1 month ahead of us. Now, there's a very interesting relationship between this man who is the candidate elect for the NDC today, that's lawyer Bernard Bediako-Bedo, and the former member of parliament and the former aspirant or the candidate of the NDC in this Akwatia constituency. That's Henry Boakye. Henry Boakye won the Akwatia constituency for the NDC in the 2020 elections. He contested that election with the late member of parliament who, as a result of his demise, has necessitated this particular by-election, that's NSE Alkumi. So in 2020, Henry Boakye and NSE Alkumi contested that election in the Akwatia constituency, but Henry Boakye prevailed with less than 2,000 vote difference. But fast forward to 2024, the two of them contested. That's the late NSE Alkumi and Henry Boakye. Now, you do know how things played out in that election where we saw the dispute and then also the NDC challenging the declaration of NSE Alkumi as the MP-elect in court. Now, this matter has still not been settled. I mean, the merits of this particular case has still not been settled in court, but with the demise of NSE Alkumi, it renders that court case moot, as far as we do know. Now, this development is interesting because Bernard Bediako Bedo, the man who has been elected today as the NDC's candidate for the Akwatia constituency by-election, was the lawyer for Henry Boakye. During this entire process of he contesting the 2024 elections declaration for the late NSE Alkumi, right from 2024, the 9th of December when all of this was going on, this is the lawyer for this man. Then, after NSE Alkumi's demise, when the seat was declared vacant, his lawyer says, you know what, I'm the constituency secretary for the NDC in Akwatia, so even though I'm your lawyer, I'm going to test my mettle and my influence on the ground. I decide to contest this primaries to see if I'm going to win. Well, guess what? After the election today, Bernard Bediako Bedo, the lawyer of Henry Boakye, the former member of parliament, the 2024 parliamentary candidate for the NDC in Akwatia, has won 380 votes, followed closely by Erasmus Kone Ali, who's also very, very known on the ground from what we do. We also got information, 366. And then Henry Boakye, who is the incumbent, actually trailed third with 226 of the vote cast. And you should follow me closely because it tells a different story when we look at what has been happening in the Akwatia constituency in terms of the parliamentary results. The two political parties have both won this constituency before. And this is what happened. In the year 2000 at least, let's start off from there. This election, the NPP won. And it's been a closely contested election right from the creation of this constituency. So until in 2016, when the NPP won with a huge margin of almost 6,000 votes difference, it was closely contested, 48.9, almost 49% in 2000. The NDC followed closely with about 43% on the average. And then in 2004, the NPP inched up a bit with 52.2%. And in that particular election, remember, that was the second term of John Ejekum Kufuor as President of the Republic of Ghana. Fast forward to 2008, that election that we saw, a runoff as well, with John Evans Atamil showing up strongly. This is what played out in the Akwatia constituency. And recall the 2008 election in the Akwatia constituency was fraught with some violence, which led to a rerun of that particular elections. So the Akwatia constituency, although there are fears of, possible violence and the statements that have been made ahead of this by-election, the Akwatia constituency is not new to concerns of violence in an election. 2008 comes to mind. But this is how the elections played out. In 2012, Baba Jamal won. In fact, Baba Jamal was the one who contested in 2008. He didn't win in 2012. He won on the ticket of the NDC with this very, very close margin. In 2016, we saw the NDC put up Baba Jamal again as the incumbent, but he lost. That's when the MPP showed up strongly. And this results of the highest we've seen in terms of the margin of victory in the Akwatia constituency was chalked by the NPP candidate in 2016. And it's because the 2016 election itself had a lot of outliers, and that's what we saw as well play out in 2024, as some have predicted that things could actually realign in 2028. But 2020, we saw Henry Boachi now step in as the candidate for the NDC, and he won. NSC Alkumi contested him, he lost. 2024, it flipped around. Now, we're seeing two new candidates for both the MPP and the NDC going into this by-election. Rashid Tanko Computer is Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the NDC. He's joining us on Zoom right now. Tanko Computer, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, my brother. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for asking. Now, I start off from this, the outcome of this primaries today. Now you know who is going to contest on your ticket as a party. But then again, how do you intend to address the fallout from today? Because lawyer Beidou, who won today, was the lawyer for your candidate in 2024. And now he's contested him and he has won. How do you intend to address whatever fallout there may be after today between the two of them?
Well, Alfred, this is the beauty of democracy. The NDC is a social democratic party. And that is why initially when we opened the primaries, people did not understand the reason behind that. Now they are getting to understand the reason behind going for the primaries. We had the intelligence that if we had forced a candidate on the people of Akwatia, the repercussion would have been great. So we decided to go this route by opening nomination and allowing people to test their strength before the delegates. And clearly, it turned out that that was the best of decision the Functional Executive Committee took in allowing these primaries to come on. That is the beauty of democracy. I mean, they are together. Everybody understood the nature of the contest before going in there. And they had a delegates list. In fact, that is why the whole process went very peaceful without any incident. Nobody had any issue whatsoever against the process. It went very peaceful. And we are very sure that lawyer Beidou is going to win the election. He's going to win massively. Now the battle lines are drawn. I can assure you by tomorrow we are hitting the grounds running, and NPP should prepare for us because we are going to hand them down a heavy defeat in this Akwatia by-election.
What informs this? What informs this confidence that you're beaming with tonight? That he's already won.
Alfred, 2024, we won the election. In fact, we were initially even declared winners.
Yes, but that was overturned.
Yes, and that was overturned at Tesano Police Station in Accra. You remember your cameras can even play back what happened at Tesano Police Station. We were having problems with them over it because we had identified that a number of polling stations, almost 12 of them, recorded overvoting to the tune of 2,000 votes given to the MPP candidate.
Well, did you?
And that was all.
Did you bring this matter up? Is it part of the issues, the evidence you've presented in court?
Yes, Alfred, this was the reason why we're in court. You see, when the contempt case was placed against him and he ran to Supreme Court, there was also election petition ongoing at the Kufridwa High Court. And so we're pursuing that matter. Although Supreme Court vacated the contempt this thing that was placed on him, Supreme Court vacated it and allowed him to continue the case at Kufridwa. Unfortunately, we lost him. May his soul rest in perfect peace. We don't wish death for anybody. In fact, we wish that he was alive so that we continue the court case, so that Ghanaians will see that MPP actually rigged the election. We're going to exhibit in the pink sheet how they did it and all that. Unfortunately, he lost his life. So the matter is moot now. So we are aware. But this time, I'm telling you that the MPP will not have the luxury and laxity of rigging the election.
But then again, you see,
will not have that
here's where the issue is. Because now you're going beyond what happened in 2024 with this by-election in front of, or ahead of you in less than a month. Now, how strong is your candidate on the ground? And I ask this because some of the delegates we spoke to, at least one of them we spoke to after this primaries earlier today, indicated that, he's not known, even though he's the secretary of the NDC for Akwatia. How strong is he on the ground?
Before he became a secretary, he was overwhelmingly voted for. There was a constituency conference to elect executives. And he was voted for. If he was not known, he wouldn't have, nobody was going to vote for him. Don't forget that our conference at that time, 2021, 2022, was one of the most competitive conferences that we ever held. And yet he emerged as the winner, the constituency secretary for that constituency, and led the constituency to the election. In fact, he led the constituency. He was leading the charge as the chief scribe of the constituency. That led it. Look, the votes we got in Akwatia unprecedented in 2024. That is why I'm saying that statisticians, those who are very much interested in numbers, should go and look at the presidential votes and the parliamentary votes. They will see what I'm talking about. You see where the rigging machinery came from. And it was our secretary who led it for us to chalk these successes. So I'm not surprised he emerged winner to this election. I'm not surprised at all, because his track record is there. The people know him very well, and he's been fighting for the party. Look, he was doing this work pro bono. Listen, all the time we're going to court. In fact, I was with him in Supreme Court, going to in and out. Anytime we're going there, pro bono. He was foiling his own vehicle to come there and all that. And so he has fought for the party all this while. I'm not surprised the delegates decided to reward him with this victory. Out of contest, you should expect that some will be aggrieved that, look, their candidate didn't win.
Yeah,
so
this is what I meant.
This kind of
well,
stuff,
this is what I meant, and just so you listen, because and then also, if you acknowledge that there are some differences or persons who may be harboring one ill feeling or the other, I intend to address it. But this is what one of the delegates said. Take a look.
Party, we should all come together. But as your friends say, your friends say, we pay, your friends, and then all night, and all we need, and they about general one, you better my MP said, you must say, but to abandon Debbie, and money and Cosa, your bonfire, and penny phone solely, no more romantum, no more campaign, I win ya, no for football, number man kaboom, and Rakoja and Tem, you became one boom.
So, Dr. Rashid Tanko, I beg your pardon. That's what you got in there, hearing the lady who just spoke.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a contest. You know, there were 3 in number vying for the position. Unfortunately, the other 2 couldn't make it. He won. So what do you expect? Their supporters at that trying moment will be aggrieved, of course. But I can assure you, they will come back home. They'll come to reality that there's a need to present an NDC MP to Parliament to represent the good people of Akwatia, because His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has done extremely well for the country. Other constituencies are yearning for it. In fact, even today, if MPP, a member of Parliament, there are 87, one of them should resign, we will go and take that because the people will vote for us.
I see.
Because they are enjoying the fruit of their labor. Ghanaians are enjoying it. Constituencies upon constituencies are yearning. Look, even there is a cry out there that, look, why should MPP 87 continue wasting our time? Okay. Because the thing His Excellency is doing is unprecedented under the 4th Republican Constitution. 7 months in government, and Ghanaians are enjoying this kind of fruits that they've never gotten before.
We'll see how the coming days will look like. And September 2 is just less than a month away from today. So we would build up strongly to that day and certainly be on the ground to gauge the mood and sentiments there. Rashid Tanko Computer, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
Deputy Director of IT and Elections for the NDC remain your election command center. So stay with us across all media journal platforms. We'll build up strongly to that by-election and see how things play out on September 2. That's the date to watch. That's the contest between these 2 persons. Bernard Bediakon Beidu of the NDC is a private legal practitioner, and Solomon Esmedu of the MPP. He is a miner. He is the CEO of Owo Mining Company. The 2 of them going in there, and you know, Akwatia is a mining town as well, and this man as well is serving as a secretary for the NDC in the constituency all the while. We'll see how things play out. And this is a contest between a lawyer and his former client, right? Because apparently Bernard Bediakon Beidu had Solomon at some point as a client of his, right? And then also you had Bernard Bedu defeating a former client of his in the NDC as well. Look, this is a place to be here on your Election Command Center as we draw in all of these narratives and how that ties into what's going to be happening in the coming days. Musa Dankwa is Executive Director of Global Info Analytics, is joining us on Zoom right now. Mr. Dankwa, good evening. Thank you for joining us. I mean, looking at the trends and what I pulled out earlier in the Akwatia constituency, right from the year 2000 up until 2024, how do you see things playing out, and especially taking into consideration what has happened now? Have you already done some work ahead of September 2, and how did the picture look like ahead of the 2024 elections results that was disputed?
Right. In Akwatia constituency, we were expecting a too close race to call. So if you look at our MRP model we use in predicting the remaining constituencies, we had Akwatia classified as a toss-up, which means either party could have won it.
But taking into consideration what happened after that election on December 7, 2024, even though the NPP candidate, that's the late NSC Alkumi, was declared MP-elect, the NDC contested it in court, and then now we're seeing things play out this way with the by-election. Did you factor all of that in there in terms of the definition of what a toss-up is, based on what happened?
Yes, it does. If you look at the result of the parliamentary elections, I think the MPP candidate won by 2,100 votes. That's about 6% margin, if you look at the overall turnout. And if you look at that and what we were saying, and it falls within that margin, any race that was less than 10% win for a particular candidate, we were classifying them as a toss-up because of the situation in the country.
I see, but now we have a by-election ahead of us, September 2. Have you already done some work in the Akwatia constituency ahead of this by-election?
Yes, we've just done our first poll, which is yet to be published tomorrow morning, around 8 o'clock. We spent 2 days in Akwatia constituency. We covered all the 21 electoral areas in Akwatia constituencies, and we interviewed about 2,060 voters across the constituency. The report is ready. I will be releasing the report tomorrow morning, and I will see the dynamics of what is happening in the constituency.
Interesting. We'll wait for tomorrow morning, but then again, you did this poll before the NDC candidate was elected, because he was declared winner just about 5:15 p.m. earlier this evening. So even though we knew the NPP candidate earlier, and so that would have been factored into your poll, but now with the NDC having its candidate declared just about 5 hours ago, wouldn't that also impact on the outcome of the poll that you did prior to his election?
We did a scenario kind of options that if NDC present Mr. A or Mr. Bedu, what will be the outcome? If NDC presents the incumbent or the former MP, Boachi, Yadom, what would the race be? And if NDC presents Kony Ali, what would the race be? So we have the outcome of all the three scenarios. In fact, we even went ahead to do a scenario involving Amasei. If Amasei had been selected, what would have been the outcome of the election? So we have a lot of scenarios that we teased out, and we would monitor that polling numbers again towards the end of the month.
Thank you very much, Musa Dankwa. Appreciate you. Tomorrow we'll wait for the outcome of this poll. It promises to be interesting as always. Thank you. Musa Dankwa is Executive Director of Global Info Analytics, joining us on this one. This is your Election Command Center. We're building up strongly to that by-election in the Akwatia constituency. All is set. Both MPP and NDC, they know who is representing them or contesting for them on both tickets ahead of that election on September 2. And we'll be monitoring and gauging the mood ahead of that day right here on your Election Command Center. incident has gutted portions of a building at the Oyoko Methodist Senior High School in the New Jobbing North Municipality of the Eastern Region. Fire service personnel responded promptly and have successfully brought the blaze under control. So the live videos of this fire outbreak. We understand the fire officers responded to this on time, and they've been able to bring the fire under control. These are the videos we got from some of our viewers on the ground who are just watching us right now and giving us updates of what's happening. And our Eastern Regional Correspondent Yvonne Niko as well, who is on this particular one. And so these are videos as we just got. You see the firefighters who responded to this fire, we understand, on time, and were able to fight the fire. We do appreciate you, our viewers, as well, helping us all to make sure that we are able to put out everything as timely as possible. We now have the Regional Fire Commander in the Eastern Region, ACFO 1, Timothy Osafo Afum, is joining us on Zoom right now. ACFO 1, Timothy Afum, thank you for joining us. Now, are you able to give us a bit more detail on this fire outbreak we're just hearing in that school?
Right, thank you very much. The fire, we received the call a little after 6 p.m. this evening, and so we quickly move in. When we move in, we realized that the fire has engulfed one side of the boys' dormitory. So we quickly roll into action, and we're able to prevent the fire from spreading. So the fire, which started in the ceiling of the left side of the building, was prevented from spreading. And so that side, which belonged to the housemaster, got gutted. But fortunately, because we were able to prevent it from spreading, none of the students were affected.
I see. Now, any idea of the cause of the fire? Any preliminary investigations pointing to exactly what the cause of the fire may have been?
So our preliminary investigation points to an electrical problem. According to sources, there was power fluctuation. And what also confirms this is that the fire started from inside of the ceiling, and therefore nothing could have started the fire from the ceiling than an electrical problem.
I see, but have you been able to speak to the authorities of the school to then also give a bit more detail as to what could have led to that preliminary suspicion that you have about that fire, the cause of the fire?
So the housemaster himself was not around, but the students who saw the initial stages of the fire are the ones we spoke to. So we'll continue the investigation tomorrow morning when we can be able to see everything clear.
I see. Now, are you able to give us an idea of the destruction that this fire has caused to the dormitories of the school?
Right, so like I indicated, it started from the ceiling, and therefore the ceiling and the roof, including the property of the housemaster, everything has been destroyed by the fire. But apart from that, it's unfortunate though, but the good news is also that no students was affected.
And if no student was affected, it means at the time of the fire, were they in the dormitory or outside of the dormitory when this happened?
So they were in the dormitory, just that where the fire started is where the housemaster is occupying. And therefore, we're able to restrict the fire to that particular area. And that is how come no student was affected.
I do appreciate you. Thank you for joining us. Tomorrow, we'll connect with you again as you expand the scope of your investigation. Thank you for joining us. ACFO1. ACFO1 Timothy Afum is the Eastern Regional Fire Officer, giving us details of this fire outbreak at the Oyoko Methodist Senior High School. Yes, good news. No students been affected, but we have some property that has also been touched as a result of this fire outbreak. Now, still live here on Ghana Tonight, we're still matters of education, still stay the same there. Let's go to Boko right now. Coming up next, what's the fate of candidates sitting for this year's West African Senior School Certificate Examination in Boko and other conflict-prone areas with security concerns? That's the conversation we're having tonight. The Ghana Education Service has announced that this year's WAEC examinations will go ahead as scheduled nationwide, including the conflict-prone areas. The director of the Ghana Education Service, Professor Ernest Kofi Davis, says candidates in affected regions will remain on the school premises under protective watch until the exam ends. Take a look at this.
We are working collaboratively with the security to ensure that we have incident-free examinations. The students are going to stay in the school. They are not going to commute. So there wouldn't be any day students. All of them will be kept in the school under the security protection until they finish the exams. Those who will need escort will be escorted back to the safe communities they came from. And I'm sure about that. We know the effect of examination malpractice on the integrity of the certificate. Information for them is that they will be dismissed because if they are caught, because the GES Council has given GES the power to dismiss invigilators and supervisors who are caught.
Well, so that's the Director General of the Ghana Education Service there, giving us details of what happened and the measures that have been put in place as well. Now, these schools with security concerns ahead of the WASI, which starts tomorrow, Boko Senior High School, Zuarungu Senior High School, Nalerugu Senior High School, and then Nkwanta Senior High School as well. And thankfully, we have the Director of Public Affairs of the West African Examination Council, WAEC, John Kapi, is joining us on Zoom right now. So Kapi, good evening. Thank you for joining us. This is what the Director General of the GES is saying, that instead of the prior information we got, that these students in these affected schools with security concerns will be moved to a safe location to write. We understand they're going to be on these school premises under protective cover with heavy security presence, and they will write the exams and at the school premises, their original school premises. Is it consistent with the arrangements that WAEC has or have been put in place ahead of the exam tomorrow?
Well, what the arrangements have been, especially regarding WAEC, has been that we would depend on the local authorities to advise on the security situation wherever they are, and then based on that, we'll advise ourselves on whether we can conduct the exams in there or probably ask that they get moved from there. In our interaction with the Ghana Education Service, with the local security authorities over the Regional Security Council, District Security Council, they have given the assurance that there's adequate security and therefore the examinations can be taken in those areas. So that is the arrangement that has been made so far.
Well, you talk about the adequacy of the security. Have you, WAEC, been briefed on exactly what the security measures are that you have been given the assurance of?
Yes, as we speak, there has been an increased presence of security personnel in these areas. A number of the candidates from Zuarungu have opted to write in Boku, where they feel that it is more secure for them. Now, let me just stress that when it comes to examinations, the Ghana Education Service would usually lead in getting us the areas where the examinations can be taken, as well as the personnel who would assist us conduct the exam. In the interaction between the Ghana Education Service, the local authorities over there, it's obvious that the candidates feel more secure, especially those in Zuarungu. So they'll prefer going back to Boku, where they think that there's more security there, and there they can sit for the examination. On our part as WAEC, we already had our own security arrangements made, especially so that our personnel, as well as the question papers, are secured. and also depending on the security agencies in the area to provide security for the candidates to sit the examination in an atmosphere that is conducive.
I see. So the clarity is that the Zwarungu students have opted to write in Boko, but then again, the period of preparation is as important as the examination period itself. So as you're focused on providing security for the students to write the exam during the examination period, any measures for the preparatory period as well for these students in these troubled areas?
Yes, we have our regional branch controller, the officer in charge of the region as far as exams are concerned. And he's been in constant touch with the people. He's met with the supervisors, he's met with the vigilators, a number of personnel who are supposed to be managing the candidates as far as exams are concerned. And they give the indication that all is set for them. They are ready. They've prepared their candidates adequately, and they think that when the time comes, the atmosphere that will be created for them to be able to write the exam.
No, but just give me an update on the general preparation, not just for these troubled areas, but across the country for the exam that starts tomorrow.
So as a council, we have been able to put our arrangements in place. Printing has gone on. They've packed all the question papers needed for the examinations. We have distributed the practical questions to the candidates for those who are starting their project work tomorrow. For those who are doing the visual arts, ceramics, basketry, graphic design and all of that, they would start their practical work tomorrow. A few others will continue, and then come the 20th, the major written paper, that's the oral English, would commence. On our part, everything is set. All the material that we need for the examinations are ready. So once the dates are up, WAEC is ready to conduct the examination.
And we'll keep tabs on it right from tomorrow. We can only wish them all the best. Thank you very much. John Kapi is Head of Public Affairs for the West African Examination Council. This is Ghana Tonight. Now, this is important because the assurance for security comes on the back of concerns raised by a pre-tertiary teacher unions who are urging the Ghana Education Service to put in place special measures to support students in Boko who are set to sit for the exam. They warn without immediate intervention, the psychological impact of the conflict in the area could negatively affect the candidates ahead of tomorrow. Take a look.
The Ghana Education Service has an obligation, a duty to perform for the children in Boko. And that assignment can only be executed with the support and assistance of the security agencies. And so let the security agencies come out to tell the Ghana Education Service that, look, this is the way we want to go. Then we all go. His Royal Majesty should handle the matter for us. The least we can do to help them is to back them with everything we can do. But not to stay behind and be running commentaries that would derail their effort. The difficult thing, they speak on television networks. You see them talking.
We have other schools in that area where a special sort of arrangement can be made for them. But these are the consequences of conflict. At the end of the day, it affects the children of Boku. It affects the children of Narulugu. It affects the children of all the other towns and villages in that area. Somebody can lose his life focus. They do not want to be within the community of peaceful people. We need to isolate that person and deal with that person. Look, people who want violence, you don't go there and be talking romantically with them. The military for the past week is changed from peace, to peace enforcement. And they've gone there very robustly, and they've indicated that, look, now our mandate is changed. What has happened?
As we're speaking now, in other schools, they are learning. Their teachers are on them. They are being taught how to write the examination. But now, when you go to Naleregu, when you go to Boku, SHS, they are all at home. But when it is time for examination, we are going to assist them to come back on campus and then write the examination. Why should it be so? So you just move from your house, you come and write the exams, and then you go again. I mean, psychologically, it is not even right. I have colleagues who have left Boku. I have colleague teachers who have packed their bag and they've left. Some of them have gone to Kintampo, Sunyani, Techiman, and the rest. And if we don't try to solve this issue as early as practicable, it will get to a time children in Boku will not even have access to education again. That is the worry.
It's live on Ghana Tonight. We're back after this quick break. We'll get into the matters of the announcement by the finance minister on cocoa pricing. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.
Reporting from the Takoradi Market Circle.
From the heart of the Upper West Regional Capital.
From the heart of the Ashanti Kingdom.
Reporting from Sunyani.
From the Central Business District of Navrongo.
The parliamentarians are on recess.
This is where it all unfolds. The moments that potentially alters the course of our nation and the world. These are the individuals we recognize, the voices we amplify, who appears on screen and who contributes behind the scenes. With professionalism at our core, we bring you news you can trust. Impact journalism that makes a difference. This illustrates how diverse perspectives enhance our strength and reinforces our mission. This is 3 News. Leaders in breaking news, exclusive interviews, facts and analysis on TV, radio, online and digital. 3 News, first in news.
in cocoa producer price in dollar terms, but farmers are saying just a little over 4% increase in CD terms. You want to understand this? We'll hear how the farmers are reacting to this. This was on the back of the earlier today government announcing the increase in the producer price of cocoa from $3,100 per ton to $5,040 for the upcoming 2025-2026 cocoa season. The new price takes effect Thursday, August 7. This is in dollar terms, reflect 62% increase in dollar terms. But for the farmers, they are already looking at the conversion into cedis and say that's a 4% rise in their earnings per bag. And, well, we sought to find out why exactly they have a concern about how this reflects in cedi terms. And they point to the fact that the cedi is now doing well against the dollar. Previously, they would have taken solace in the dollar strength, but now they want the measurement of their benefit in this new price that has been announced today to be looked at in cedi terms. But here's the Finance Minister, Dr. Kasiela Tufosing, making that announcement earlier today. Take a look.
The government of Ghana is pleased to announce an increase in the producer price of cocoa from $3,100 per ton to $5,040 per ton. It is instructive to note that the government has, by this decision, increased the producer price significantly by 62.58% in US dollar terms. This increase in the producer price represents 70% of the gross free on board value of $7,200 per ton and aligns with the NDC's manifesto and President Mohammed's promise to pay the cocoa farmer 70% of the FOB price. It is significant to note that for the 2024 and 2025 crop season, the previous administration set an FOB value of $4,850 per ton of cocoa and the producer price at $3,100 per ton, representing 63.9% of the FOB price, even though the world market price at the time was much better than today. And for emphasis, between 2024 and 2025, the previous administration set the FOB value at $4,850 per ton, even though the world market price condition was far favorable than today, whilst today we've set the FOB value at $7,200. The gross FOB value was arrived at using the outstanding cocoa contract of about 100,000 tons sold at $2,600 per ton in the 2023 and 2024 crop season.
Last time we checked the Bloomberg terminal, this is how cocoa is doing on the world market. We'll put it on the screen right now. There's actually a reduction in the price, and that was as at 1:21 p.m. And the reason why you see this contract period of December 2025 is the forward sale that the cocoa formula in terms of pricing is always done. $7,471 per metric ton is what is now on the world market as captured by Bloomberg. Kojo Ponkroma is unfortunately a member of parliament. He had this to say after the minister made that announcement earlier today. Take a look.
We are just working the numbers right now. We've just come out of the meeting. We've seen percentages and they are using the dollar. You know, the NDC, what they do is that they try to always hide the truth. So you have to take your time, work the numbers. But the most important thing, and I encourage all of you in your newsrooms to do, pick the CD value of a bag of cocoa on the market today, compare it to the new price they have announced, and see. Somebody's telling me that the change is about 100 cedis or something. Yes.
Less than 200 cedis.
Yes.
But they argue that that's because of the strengthened cedi.
Really? Is that what they told the farmers? Is that what Atufosin told the farmers? Is that what he told them? So please, if they
So after this, Dr. Randy Abe, who is CEO of Cocoa Board, also responded to this position by the minority in Parliament after the Finance Minister put out this announcement earlier today when he spoke on Joy FM. Take a look at this.
Read the NDC's manifesto from first page to the last page. I've not seen any price in there. I've listened to what the NDC promised in the manifesto was 70% to the farmer, and then what His Excellency also to the farmer, even on his recent talk, was 70% to the farmer. That is what I know. And in any case, how can you deal with spot price when you're talking about guaranteed prices? You are guaranteeing a price over a period. How then do you deal with spot price? It is an average. You strike an average over the projected price over a period.
Okay.
And that is what you use. You could point to an individual who said something. I am just saying that there is a manifesto of the NDC. The President of the Republic himself as a candidate spoke, and he's been speaking as president. What?
That's Dr. Randy Abe there. There's more of this on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. I want to say thank you for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. We're back again tomorrow for another conversation. I'm Alfred. Ocansey. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Sasso Insecticide.